And we call this the tale of two coffee centers or coffee cities, right? New York City and Baltimore, right? Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So this is about a week old. Manhattan DA says his officers to stop prosecuting prostitution. This is from NPR. A relic and a bird. Manhattan District Attorney to stop prosecuting prostitution. Manhattan's district attorney announced Wednesday that his office will no longer prosecute prostitution, an unlicensed massage, under a new policy that's believed to be the first of its kind in New York. Cyrus R. Vance Jr. also appeared virtually in Manhattan criminal court to request the dismissal of more than 900 cases dating back to the 1970s, according to a press release. He moved to dismiss another 5,000 cases related to the state's controversial anti-loitering statute, which New York Governor Andrew Cuomo repealed in February. In February. Got to go back and look at that. In a statement, Vance noted that the disproportionate impact of laws on the LGBTQ community and the other vulnerable populations, and credited advocates and survivors with making this set of reforms possible. Over the last decade, we've learned from those lived experience and from our own experience on the ground, criminally prosecuting prostitution does not make us safer, and too often achieves the opposite result by further marginalizing vulnerable New Yorkers, Vance said. By vacating warrants, dismissing cases, and easing convictions for these charges, we are completing a paradigm shift in our approach. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office's previous policy was to dismiss prostitution cases after the charged individual completed 5 counseling sessions with service providers. Going forward, it said its human trafficking response unit will file paperwork to decline formally to prosecute and to inform the person arrested about purely voluntary services. The text of the new policy notes that it does not preclude officials from bringing other charges that may stem from prostitution-related arrest. A spokesperson confirmed to NPR that it will not change the office's existing approach to arresting patrons of prostitution. This is almost like the Canadian law, which really never had any teeth. But the change is poised to affect thousands of sex workers and victims of sex trafficking, many of whom are women, people of color, and members of the LGBTQ. Black, brown, and East Asian women and girls, immigrants, and LGBTQ+ have been disproportionately harmed by the laws like loitering for the purpose of prostitution and unlicensed practice of a profession, a charge that is often used to make arrests in massage businesses. Judy Harris Kluger, executive director of the Legal Services Provider Sanctuary for Families, said in a statement. She added that the district attorney is making critical changes in its approach to the sex trade and the way our communities support the most risk of exploitation. Skipping down. The national debate over whether sex work should be illegal is not new. Opponents say sex work is an exploitative industry and victimizing profession, while many advocates and academics believe that decriminalizing it would protect sex workers and benefit public health. A coalition of advocates formed the group Decrim New York in 2019 in the stated goal of working to decriminalize, decarcerate, and destigmatize the sex trades in New York City and across the state. Skipping down. This initiative to end the prosecution of people who are simply trying to work to survive through a depressed economy, Bing, and to immediately dismiss the almost 6,000 bench warrants for loitering, prostitution, and non-licensed massages is one of the most significant steps taken nationally in the effort to stop criminalizing sex work. Other jurisdictions in and beyond New York have also taken steps to ease the prosecution of prostitution. Brooklyn's district attorney, for instance, said in January he would dismiss more than 1,000 prostitution-related warrants from the last 5 decades. Since taking office in 2018, Philadelphia's district attorney has also told his assistant district attorneys not to charge sex workers with prostitution if the individual has fewer than 2 convictions, and the state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, announced last month that the city of Baltimore will permanently stop prosecuting prostitution, trespassing, and other minor charges. Vance has said he will not seek a fourth term as Manhattan District Attorney, which will begin in January. As the appeal has reported, most of the candidates running for election in June have said they would not prosecute cases involving consensual sex work. There you have it, but that's the biggest thing. That was the key about decriminalizing prostitution. In other words, they need people to make a living, okay? And they need women to make a living. And this ongoing automation boom, ongoing automation advance that we see taking jobs, and especially soft jobs that women have, is not going to stop. COVID-19 only made it worse. And when they come up out of this COVID stall that we're in, where the government is basically making up for money that people don't have, okay, when that money runs out, basically these people are on their own. And a lot of women will be in the street, and if they don't have another means of making money, and they have to basically facilitate an environment where women can make money any way that they can. So if it's selling weed on the side, which they decriminalize weed, or decriminalize prostitution, or combining the two where drugs and alcohol and stuff like that and sex go together. What if you decriminalize it, you open up an atmosphere where it can be done, right? Or where people can make money or make some kind of exchange. So the era of the diesel proceeds and is speeding up. Like when I saw it back in the day, basically it was still criminalized, and they were trying to hold back a wave. It didn't help because there were just too many of them, right? Couldn't prosecute them all. In fact, a lot of cops actually drove by and basically made sure there wasn't any violence. So it was almost like, in The Wire, a big hamster dam. So all they doing now is basically stopping all the raids and the stings and stuff like that, and giving people free reign to kind of make this money, or giving women a free reign to actually ply their trades. And as this becomes popular, just like anything else, especially in big cities, and on the East Coast, eventually that wave will go all the way across the country. So, the question is, what are you going to do during the era of the diesel? Because now it's almost official. It's official when New York did it, does it, when Baltimore does it, when Philly does it. It's almost official. So Florida's going to be next. And then Florida, Cali's going to be next. And when that happens, man, Katie barred the door. Because they're going to, when black women are out there doing it, they prosecuted them, right? Now white women have to get out there and do it. What does it look like when you turn good, hard-working, middle-class white women into diesels? It's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, right? The world may never know. But at the end of the day, it's one lick at a time. So, are people excited? People disappointed? People sad? What do you feel? But with that, I'm going to jump off it. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.